Guys, this story went viral, and we have Will Smith's ex-friend and assistant here, Brother Bilaal, in studio. This is The Interview. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am so honored, and I'm honestly a little surprised, Brother Bilaal. I'm so thankful for you being here, and I got to be honest with the audience, we've talked before, and you have sold me in ways that I wasn't prepared for. I was a little skeptical, my man, and you have brought receipts, and you have told me some things, and I'm excited for the audience to hear more about this story. So welcome to the show, sir. How you doing?
I'm well. Thank you for having me, Andy. I really appreciate coming on to your platform, a very well-respected platform, and decided to really share some great receipts with your audience and as well as yourself to bring credibility to everything that I'm saying.
Now let's put on. So there was a couple mutual friends we knew of that sort of you vouched for me, and I helped get this situated. So thanks to all them. For those wondering how this all connected. And you also watched our video with Christopher Melcher, where we brought down the fact that Jada really did put her foot in her mouth. And I got to be honest, when I first saw this, I was a little harsh on you, man. And I still want to be able to push you a little bit. And you said I could, because I know a lot of people are like, "What, dude, this guy's just chasing clout. He clearly doesn't know Will," all this stuff. But the reality is, I think it's important we start with the fact that since that video that went viral with Tasha K, and shout out to Tasha K for putting that out there, that video you guys did went mega viral, and I've never seen Will and Jada respond to a story so quickly, and I found that incredibly telling. Were you surprised how quickly they responded to it?
Well, Andy, no, because here's the thing. You got to know that I've, known Will for 38 years, and I worked as his assistant for several years. So I understand their strategies, right? It's always deny or either say nothing or say it's a money shakedown, right? And then have their PR team block you in the press because they killed your credibility. So I baked on me not liking Jada and Jada not liking that she would come forth and open her mouth and make a debacle of everything. Will responded through reps. Instead of Jada responding through reps, she came on the Breakfast Club and put her foot in her mouth, and her hate for me, she ended up revealing so many things that now the whole world wants to talk to me because they know I have credibility now.
Well, again, I want to be clear. So you, Brother Bilaal showed me some stuff, proof that you've worked on movies with Will. It's in the credits of the movies. Also, I think it's important to show just quickly, D.L. Hughley was out there.
Yeah, do you know who that is?
I do know who it is.
Was he actually around Will Smith?
Yes, there's no debating that.
Okay.
So no debate. You got D.L. We got a lot of people who have been vouching, admitting that, yeah, Will, you were there. You've shown me the photos. I don't want to bog on that because I'm going to accept that based on what you've shown me. Because my first question was, well, why are you doing this? I mean, I'm going to get there, but are you even friends with him? Are you clout chasing? The reality is you do know him. You were close to him. And you run a business where you're connecting celebrities to brands. And we're going to get into that as well. I guess my first question, I just think that many people who maybe are not a fan of you are wondering is, why did you do this to Will? It seems like now I think I understand more of it because of your follow-up with Tasha. You really have a beef with Jada, but I gotta call it out like I said I would. Like, you kind of put Will out there. It does feel like you were sort of throwing him out of the closet without his permission in a way. Like, why did you feel necessary throwing Will out there like that?
Well, see, here's the thing. Will is complicit in Jada's behavior, right? So let's just take one of the stories. One of the stories was on Will's book. They brought me in and wanted me to help with product placement, which, what I do. So I have a company called HAYB. And essentially what product placement is that, large companies pay me money to get their products directly into celebrity hands. So Will team thought it would be a great idea to bring me in and to help curate gifts and stuff for celebrities and influencers. And I began to do that. So, we had several meetings where there's several emails out there. And as I started to, procure companies to get gifts to put inside the gift boxes, all of a sudden our communication stopped. And I called Will's team, which is Jada's team, and I said, "Hey, what are we doing?" I said, we're a couple of weeks away from the book. We need to start moving expeditiously." And they told me, Jada said, this is not going to happen. So I said, "What do you mean this is not going to happen? I already invested money. I've already reached out to my clients." So long story short, that turned into potentially what was going to be a lawsuit. So I hired a lawyer to deal with, essentially Will and Jada in the team. And they asked me, was I open to mediation, which I was. So my lawyer reached out to Will's lawyer, Ken Hertz, who's a scumbag, and we'll get into that later. And then the slap happened. So there was no way I was going to sue Will during the slap, right? For me personally, I know what he was going through. I didn't condone the slap, but I felt if I would have sued Will during that time, that he may have, tried to pluck himself. So I went through all that. We end up having the mediation. They offered me a very low amount of money, and I walked away from it. Jada gets back in touch with me with a guy. So they have a guy. So how I communicate with Will and Jada, they have a guy named Charlie Mack the Rat. He calls me and says, "Hey, Will and Jada needs to talk to you." So I have to meet him. He has a special cell phone, and I have the conversation with Will and Jada. Her conversation was, "You better take the money from the mediation, right? Because that'll put you in position to sue if you don't." I told her I wasn't taking the money, and then she threatened my life, right? She was like, "I'm gonna kill you," which I took seriously, right? So I said, "Will," I said, "are you gonna allow Jada to talk to me this way?" And his exact words were, "You heard what my wife said." So at that point, 38 years of friendship is over. At that point, you're starting to do other things to crush my career, to blackball me. I know what I have to do. So at the end of the day, Will needs to feel some of this because he's complicit. He could have said, "Listen, Jada, let's reevaluate this," just anything, even if he didn't take my side. But when a person tell me they're gonna crush me, crush my career, and kill me, Andy, I have to take that very seriously because we're dealing with the Smiths here. That's who we're dealing with, and they know, and Will knows the information that I have is damaging. I have not even gave you 3% of the things that I can prove that Will and Jada have done. And some of it is criminal, period.
So I guess my question is, and again, I have to cover myself legally. I haven't seen the things you're saying about it. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, but audience, I don't know. I don't want Jay to come after me. This is Brother Bilaal's story. I'm letting him tell his story. You guys will have to take him as you want, believe what he's given you. I can attest that, yes, it does. He's showed me that they have you can see it on screen here. He clearly knew this guy. So you clearly were in this inner circle. And I guess that's the one question I have. Like, what is the goal here? Like, why threaten him? It seems like you guys you say like he's put a lot of bread in your pocket. He's done a lot. It seems like you're seeing that a little bit and you're more focused on Jada is what but do you have any sort of regret on turning on Will like this? Is it really his fault that he's stuck with this succubus, it seems, this evil woman? Do you feel do you get what I'm saying? Like, is there a little bit of regret and like, I'm sorry I got to drag Will through this to get to Jada?
Yes and no, because here's my thing. I mentioned you got to imagine, I've known Will and worked with Will prior to him meeting Jada, right? So I know the type of loving person Will was, the type of angelic one thing I'm not going to do, Andy, is take anything away from Will being a great person prior to meeting Jada, right? It's just undeniable. And that's why some people are giving me so much pushback on Will, because they're trying to cling on to that Will that wanted to help the world, that wanted to be that beacon of light, that inspired others to want to work harder and do better, right? So people are trying to hope, but that Will is long gone. I'll never forget. I think we were working on the movie The Legend of Bagger Vance, which I'm into, right? And him and Jada were going through these crazy arguments, which I'm privy to. See, here's the thing. You know, like I say, I've known Will for over 3 decades. So I'm in the inside. I'm giving you information from the inside, no speculation, not what I think, right? And I said to Will one day, I said, why don't you just leave this woman? Like, why do you stay? Why do you take this abuse, right? This is 2 brothers having a conversation. And Will, I mean, I thought he was going to slap me. I thought we were going to actually get into a fist fight. He told me to stay out of his mother effing business and some other things that I don't care to repeat. After that, Andy, I've never, ever mentioned his relationship with Jada to him, period. Because obviously now, from me hiring a private investigator, right, I understand and I know why Will just doesn't fight back or push back. The things that Jada has over Will are incredible. And the things that Will have over Jada is incredible. So
I want to get to Jada. Yeah.
Okay.
But I just want to, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, apologies, but I guess I just want to ask one more question so people don't think I'm just completely doing it. Like, it's curious because you have this relationship with these celebrities, right? You're helping them out. Are you worried that revealing these secrets that you had in the inner circle could hurt your business? Like, why are you putting all that on the line? Because some will say that's douchey of you, right? Like, even if they're doing it, why share these people's personal information like the way you are? Do you understand that criticism? What's your response to it?
Well, it's a much bigger story here. The things that I'm leading up to are going to be criminal. So right now, I'm just giving just enough information where intelligent people can connect the dots. That's what I'm doing now, because some of the things that were done were criminal. Like, you know, you have many people that came out with Diddy, right? You hear this, you hear that, you hear this, you hear that. Now all of a sudden we are where we are, right? And this is going to be the same thing about Jada. You're going to hear little things, and then you're going to start hearing credible people talk. And then once the credible people talk, it's over. I'm not worrying about, see, all these celebrities that I've dealt with, you got to imagine, I've been knowing them for decades as well, too, because I'm a guy from Philadelphia and I came from the streets, right? So a lot of these people know me from a much different, a much different era in my life. And then a lot of them know what's going on with Jada. A lot of them know what's going on with Will. And as you're going to start to see, a lot of people are going to start to come forth on my behalf. But there's a process. You can't feed a baby steak, Andy. You have to take your time with all this information. You got to imagine, I got 38 years of information and 25 years of information with Will and Jada. So I have to take my time, and then I'm traumatized. I'm telling my story. I'm spewing my truth, right? And I don't care what nobody say. The things that I had to endure, the things that I had to see, I can finally let go. I can finally say, wow, it traumatized me. So that's where I'm at.
You've given Jada a clock just to help, as you did. If you guys didn't see part 2 on Tasha's interview, you guys can go check it out. And you give her an ultimatum of 2 weeks, and you're going to go back and release it all. You know, one could argue you're stretching this out, and why not just give us what you want? But you're making a point of, I guess, why not just deliver it all? What's the point in trying to dish it out? Do you think that's just a better way to get it out there, or do you think, is there something that Will and Jada can do while you're sort of teasing all this that could get you to stop?
Well, one thing, I understand Will and I understand Jada. Me and Jada hate, well, hate is such a strong word, but yes, I could say I hate her and she hates me, right? So I'm banking on her being a narcissist and a sociopath, right? And that Breakfast Club interview, purely, she listen, they would have had me in a position where my houses, my assets, my car, everything that I have could have been taken, right? But Jada comes out, put her foot in her mouth, talks about me and Will having business, me and Will doing business. This is a shakedown. He's tried it before, right? She says, and then if you go back and listen to the interview, I implore everybody, please go back and listen to the interview because the people on the side are trying to tell Jada to shut up. Right?
Yes.
They're trying to
And
tell
then she
her
tries to
shut
play it
up.
down like, oh no, I can talk. Yes, I noticed
yes,
it too.
right. Because if I was in the room and working as my assistant capacity, I would have just stopped the interview. I would have threw coffee across the room, anything. I would have got.
I mean, that sometimes that can be worse because then it looks like she's got something to hide. It's a delicate balance, right? Shutting down an interview is what everyone sort of wants.
Well, what she did was she put herself and Will in a position for me to sue them now.
Well, yeah, I mean, she should have just said no comment. We can't talk about it. I'm not even going to dignify that. There's a million PR ways she could have handled it, but she came out hot. And not only that, since you brought it up, she was out on TMZ, we suing, and she's not. And I want to, because I know you don't have a ton of time here, and I want to get to this because I want to establish and make sure people like you seem willing to answer the questions. You're putting yourself out there, and you haven't been sued. As I watched that part 2 with Tasha K, it is clear, like, where's the lawsuits? And Tasha K's been sued before. You know what I mean? That's like, where are the lawsuits? She hasn't. And so you've threatened them. Has she, I guess what I want to focus on, because you've said a lot and I know we have limited time. What is this criminal actions? Like I guess you're not going to share too much, but this is all coming from, one, she affected your business. Two, you're alleging that there's more criminal stuff behind the scenes that's gone on that you are trying to expose. What's your end game here with Jada?
So number one is that I'm bringing awareness and making other people, not making, but other people are going to come out with their story that was involved with Will and Jada, right? There was a other guy, I don't know if you received the, I think we texted to you, my team, a guy by the name of, MC Breeze. It was Joey B. Ellis. And he had a hit song with from the Rocky movie called Go For It. Right. And he talked about Jada in this video that Will invited him and another guy named Schoolie D to. Right. These are Philadelphia legends. Right. And if you go to this video, it's the first video that Jada directed with Will. It's called So Fresh. The name is Will Smith, So Fresh. And you'll see me in there clowning around. And so because I'm almost like a feature in the video. Right. And Jada directed this video. And in that video, I had to do so much damage control because, we shot it in Philadelphia and Jada were treating legends in Philadelphia like trash. So that's it. And he came out with his story. Other people were coming out with his story. So the end game is to have all these celebrities and people begin to come out so that we can just run Jada into a hole because she's a detriment to society. She has money, I already said, and she's already self-admitted to drug addiction, and just so many other things. Like I say, I'm not here to trash. I'm here to speak my truth, and I'm here to have others speak their truth, and I'm here to put her in a situation where she needs to get help, and she needs to apologize and atone for all the people that she's hurt. That is my end game. For me to listen to other people talk and the type of hurt and pain that she has dealt to them, it's mind blowing. It is. See, people don't know, and as I begin to tell my story,
tell us, because there's a moment in the Tasha you allege, and this was shocking to me, and again, this is what Bilal's putting out there, that Will was being massaged by Jada's brother, and whatever. I don't mind who's massaging him. It's my business. But what was interesting, you said how Jada does that to Will, where she's putting her people, her family, her people around Will, and Will's losing all of his real friends. They're getting out the door. And then you also allude that Will was hooking up with Jada's brother. But is that, can you give us a little bit more insight of like the world of what it is, according to you, like since you were there, like, is that something she does often? Like just put people that she trusts and more around him to control him?
Oh, without question. You got to understand all this is about control, right? All this about making sure that people who love Will are not in his circumference, right? You got to imagine there's another guy who actually, they call him Charlie Mack the Rat because he was a federal informant, and he got a lot of people locked up, drug dealers in Philadelphia to protect himself. So this guy, Charlie Mack the Rat, has been with Will long, maybe 41 years, right? And Jada essentially chiseled him out, right? Even though his behavior was worthy of that. And she only allows him to come back in the circle when when it's beneficial to her, right? A guy like myself who's been around Will over 3 decades, right? She edged me out, right? So now she begins to put her family members in, her brothers, her cousins, her mother. She puts all these people in position. So basically, Will has 24-hour security from people around Jada. And this is another form of control. Yeah, I did say that on Tasha K interview. There was a viral video that went around where people didn't know who this guy was rubbing, he had his junk leaned on Will's back and he was rubbing his shoulders. And Will says, only a man knows what a man needs or something like that, right? And the video went ultra viral. Well, me knowing being on the inside, that's Jada's brother, right? His name is Caleb, right? Caleb Pinkett. And he's going through a divorce right now. We wonder why, right? But I've talked to, people on that side to understand why she's and listen, this is how much of a scumbag Jada is. This guy, Caleb, who was making a lot of money from Will, quote unquote, supposed to be a producer, right? He's asking for for alimony from his wife. Like, this is the things that they do. Like, they will try to crush you financially. They try to crush you in the business. See, I already left the business, so there's no way you can crush me, right? I've already left. Had I still been in the music business, there would have been a problem. Had I still been in the
he's been in a lot of Will Smith stuff. It's all he's done, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's Jada, and more Jada. Because here's the thing that a lot of people didn't look at. A lot of people did look at the video with Tasha K, but what they didn't talk about was when I alleged that Will beat the crap out of Jada about when he came home and him and her and Mark Anthony were in there having sex in his own home, right? And I implore people to Google this because a lot of credible outlets pick this up, right? So I do not condone violence, right, against women, but I can understand why Will beat her. And I went on to say that she had to have facial surgery from the beating. I went on to talk about they made a makeshift hospital inside of their home, which is huge. It's acres after acres after acres, right? So that, this couldn't get out to the public. But at the end of the day, like I said, Will and I had long discussions. He was very suicidal when, he walked in the house and found Mark Anthony and Jada together. And me being scared to even say anything to Will because of our other encounter about me mentioning Jada to him, all I could do was listen, because I was not about to put myself in a position where I'm talking about Jada and then he snaps on me again. So I know Will's a hurt man. I really believe that the public, if Will comes out and say, hey, I did this, I hurt her, and I'm sorry, I need to seek help. I'm looking for Will to just come tell his truth about how Jada has his head messed up, right? And I believe people will accept Will. I believe that Will then be that #1 actor in Hollywood again, right? And all the other people that I have coming who are writing books, who worked with Jada, they're now coming forth. So we have to put enough pressure on Jada where Will sees everything for what it is. Will sees he has the support, right? Because I've been knowing Will was gay, right? I've been known as bisexual, whatever you want to call it, right? And I believe Will needs to come out, admit to the world that he's bisexual, and I'm telling you, everybody would accept him. This is no story about Will being bisexual. This is a story about Jada having Will complicit in all her demonized acts. This is a woman who is has low vibration. He is a woman who is not happy with herself. And everything I'm saying, this part is not alleged, because these are all of the things that she said. She said I was addicted to ecstasy. Well, who's buying that ecstasy? That's an illegal drug. If you're admitting to the public that, oh man, you might as well throw that book away. Let me digress off of this story that I was telling. So the daggone publisher, thinking that they're going to sell 1 million books very quickly, right? They are stuck with hundreds of thousands of books for Worthy, right? If I was advising the publisher who put out her book, I would say sell those books for 99 cents, and people can use them. Right. People can use them to for their fire
or something. I don't want to. I know
let's use it for the fire.
I know we got. I don't mean to interrupt, but I know we got a limit time, and I want to get, because I got to be honest. You're bringing this up, and this doesn't look good to Will. Honestly, this makes Jada look like a victim. You're bringing up his sex past, which honestly is none of my damn business, Bilaal. I gotta be honest. I don't care who he murders or does. I guess you keep bringing all this stuff about Jada. I need something, man. Like, what you keep alluding to it, and I worry you're throwing Will still under. What? Give us something, like an example or something. Why? Because we all see it. I believe you. It's easy to believe this manipulation by Jada, but is there an example you can provide to us, even simple or big or whatever, that just shows what kind of control this woman has? Because when you reveal these stories about Mark Anthony, it makes me go, well, wait a second. If that's the case, maybe she's afraid. Like, what is this level of control? And can you elaborate on that a bit of, like, what does she have on him, and why is she this evil queen that we all suspect she is? Guys, there's so much more of this interview, and part 2 drops tomorrow. You do not want to miss this one. Stay tuned. Hit that subscribe if you haven't already, and get ready for part 2 of the interview with Brother Bilaal. Whoo!